Yeah, that's the other yellow one. I got the black one here. I do have a couple of announcements. First, I want to say hello to Lisa DeRolf. She is Paul from Hassie's wife, and the story there is that Paul and Lisa and the rest of the Hassie group came out, and they were huge supporters of the Haven House Bowl-a-thon last week. Thanks a lot to Hassie Construction for that, and happy birthday to Lisa. Also, you guys know Charlie, who calls in all the time. He's in community hospital. He's asking for your prayers. Charlie didn't call us today, and he's in the hospital. He's had an episode, and let's hope that he's okay. Ryan, is he going to be in there later? Sure, you or I should probably make a stop in and see Charlie today. Can you guys text me that a little bit later and remind me to do that? Charlie's over at community, and he's asking for his prayers. You know how holy he is and how Catholic he is. The longtime caller, Charlie, in the hospital. He has called in a couple times, talked to Ryan, and we will give him our prayers. I'll give him mine. I make fun of him, and he makes fun of me, and that's how it is. But Charlie's a good dude, and he knows a lot more than he lets on. He's kind of smart as a whip if you really sit down and talk to him. But he kind of calls in here and doesn't always present that. But, Charlie, we're thinking about you. And I might not make it today, but I will see you soon. How's that sound? Hey, let's move on. We've got some good news coming our way right now. Tom Dabertin's in the house. Tom Dabertin is not here as part of the Whiting-Robertsdale Chamber of Commerce directly. He's just here because I asked him to come over. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great, and I want to extend my best wishes to Charlie. Charlie, actually, I grew up a block away from Charlie, so knowing him all my life. Good guy, you're right.
So you know he kind of... he's got the Foster Brooks act he does, and then underneath he's just kind of he's pretty astute politically, if not anything else. But
absolutely,
yeah, I love talking to Charlie, and I know my cousin Dwayne kind of is taking him under his wing at times. And
Dwayne was very good to him.
Yes.
Dwayne was extremely good to Charlie.
Yes, and so anyway, Charlie moved. I will never forget he's said a lot of good lines on this radio station. One of his best lines was, "I moved to Munster so I can walk when I have a heart attack. I can walk to the hospital."
I heard that.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, you're gonna have it? Well, when I have a heart attack, I want to be able to walk to the hospital. Okay, do you realize how ridiculous that sounds? Well, I don't care. That's what I want. Anyways, Charlie.
Charlie at one time used to live right next to St. Adalbert's Church in Robertsdale. And he moved there because this way he was so close to church. He basically was like right across, so he'd wait until the last minute.
Alexis and I, Tom Dabertin's lived in Robertsdale for all your life, right?
Yeah.
And we walked around Whiting-Robertsdale. We walked through Whiting Park on Sunday. Say, you know what? A big sponsor, Whiting-Robertsdale, it's Chamber of Commerce. You guys are a huge sponsor. City of Whiting's a huge sponsor. I've got businesses along 119th Street. And I go, hey, we got to go just get a part of the community. And I know the Whiting Park was amazing, and people got to walk through it, but we kind of just walked through the neighborhood, I guess, north of 119th, kind of between the park and Indianapolis Boulevard. I didn't realize how many churches are in there.
There are quite a few, and actually what's neat about that whole area, of course, beautiful homes and beautiful churches, and my grandfather actually owned the construction company that built just about everything before World War II, and before the 1930s after he was killed in an auto accident, but everything before that he basically built, which is really kind of neat.
It's got to give you that feeling of, an attachment to the area, and some of those homes, I don't even know whose homes they are, but they're big brick homes. They look like they have servant quarters. There's a couple of just massive homes in there, and then there's a shrine in the middle of the street. I forget what the name of it is.
Oh, that was over on Shrog Avenue. You're probably talking about the grotto.
No, I'm talking about the one. I forget the name of the road. Like say you were behind White Castles.
Okay, Atchison Avenue. There's a shrine over there.
Yeah, it's on Atchison. Yeah. I forget what it was, and I'm like, who puts a shrine in the middle of the street?
It's interesting because I said, my grandfather, of course, had this construction company. I was talking to a very well-known area floor refinishing company recently, and the guy said to me, hey, I got a question for you. Why are there are so many homes in Whiting with oak floors throughout the house, but in the kitchen, they're maple? And he said, do you know? And I said, yes, I actually do. My grandfather built those homes, and he always said that maple was a lot more impervious to grease than oak. So he used to put maple floors in the kitchen and oak everywhere else. So, I mean, just it's a really neat community. It's a lot of
Maple's
fun.
harder to maintain, though, isn't it?
It's a lot harder to maintain, but of course he died in the 1930s, so you didn't have to worry about it, I guess. But seriously, that's the reason. That is the reason. A lot of people say, will ask me about that, and they're like, "How do you know?" I'm like, "Well, my grandfather built the house." So
we're talking to Tom Dabertin, 841 here. Christina, there's another notebook over there. This isn't it, and the other one's not it. And I feel like I'm wearing somebody else's underwear here without having my notebook.
Not mine.
Here. Yeah, not yours. It's a joke. All right. Hey, everybody. Pierogi Fest is one of the largest things that happens in this region. I think it is the largest festival.
Yeah,
right?
it is. It draws over 300,000 people, and actually the Indiana Department of Commerce gave information to Miller Brewing and Indiana Beverage that we're one of the 3 largest events in the state of Indiana outside of the state fairs and county fairs. The Indy 500 is number 1, and we're like tied for number 2. So as far as draws and as far as notoriety. Notoriety, I mean, if you look at it, we are just covered by everybody. Of course, last year, all 260 CBS stations had a report on Pierogi Fest, CNN, all the Chicago television stations. We had live broadcasts from Channel 2 and from Fox, and we draw a tremendous amount of attention, but we have a lot of fun.
So you got an announcement. I don't even know what it is.
Well, we have an announcement, actually, and, this goes back to following up last Friday. You and Joe O'Connor and I joking about disco. We're proud to announce that we actually are going to have the Kings of Disco, the Village People, are going to do a special concert at Pierogi Fest on July 30th.
You're making that up.
No, I'm not. In fact, actually, it's funny because CBS 2 broke the story this morning at 6 a.m., right on the lead story at 6 a.m., and they announced Pierogi Fest is going to have a special concert, by the Village People. They're still around. The 3 of the original members are still there. Of course, three others joined over the years, but the Village People have sold 100 million records, which puts them basically on the same level as Prince. And they are going to be at Pierogi Fest Saturday, July 30th at 8 p.m. We're going to have the concert at Oil City Stadium. The opening act is a very popular local act, and I think you've seen them before, the Upper U.S. Show Band, which, of course, performed for years at the Garage in downtown Hammond. I mean, if anybody knows about the Garage Band near the cemetery in downtown Hammond, very eclectic, they're going to be the opening act. And so it's a new facet for Pierogi Fest, and we're real proud of entering a whole new dimension and new venue. But we think it fits. We think the Village People fit right into Pierogi Fest. I mean, you wear a dress, I wear a dress, pushing a lawnmower. It basically fits.
Okay, so let's do the schedule again. What's the day where we do that luncheon? Is that Thursday?
Now, the luncheon is actually on Friday morning.
Right.
The festival opens July 29th at 11 a.m. and it runs till 11 p.m. And, of course, at 7 p.m., we have the one and only Pierogi Fest International Polka Parade with Jed Didalo, Ryan Walsh, and many others. Ken Davidson last year joined, and Ken said, do I get to come back this year? I'm like, absolutely. You're a permanent member now. We're still waiting for Dave Kuziak, and you didn't read my text yesterday. I completely agreed for the first time ever
I saw
with
that.
Dave Kuziak. I thought you were inviting me in to announce that. But Dave Kuziak, if he's not a wimp, he can basically come to Pierogi Fest and push a mower with us, right?
You know what? That's not getting that's not getting legs, okay? I know the Village People are coming, and I'll certainly come out and dance with my wife, but I'm not dancing with Joe O'Connor.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got about $1,500 in pledges, so we might get you up on the stage doing the Y. I mean, come on, you can.
You never know what's going to happen, but I mean, honestly, I'm not very good at it, and it's really kind of hard to watch. But I'd love to dance, and especially, dancing with my wife. And so this sounds like a lot of fun. The Village People is an American disco group well known for their onstage costumes depicting American masculine cultural stereotypes. as well as their catchy tunes and suggestive lyrics. They have sold more than 100 million records. One of the things, I remember this too, it was, I believe this season where they performed at a Bulls game.
I think you're right.
They did a Bulls game, right, Ryan? Can you look that up?
Yeah,
They were at a Bulls game. It was like 70s disco night or something.
I am amazed. I saw their schedule, of course. They're actually represented by William Morris Agency, one of the big talent firms in the nation. And they sent us their schedule, and they were just at Epcot Center for a concert at Walt Disney World. They're going to a number of venues in Europe this fall, the UK, to France, I think to Belgium. And, lo and behold, they're going to be at Pierogi Fest. Tickets are going to be $20. We're going to sell them on a subsidiary of Ticketmaster, which is universe.com, and also they'll be available through pierogifest.net or through the Whiting Robertsdale Chamber of Commerce, so 659-0292. But, again, getting back to the schedule, the 29th is the opening day and the parade. It's absolute mayhem. I mean, you've been through that parade crowd. That is unbelievable. It's almost scary. It's so heavy. And then Saturday the 30th, we're going to have the concert on Saturday night at Oil City Stadium. And then Sunday the 31st is my birthday, which, of course, you know about the old joke. I think I told you before that when we set up Pierogi Fest, I made the comment, great, sure, and we may as well, since I didn't like pierogies, I said, well, we may as well hold it on my birthday, and that's why it's the last weekend of July. So there are other things planned other than my birthday for the 31st. It's going to be a lot of fun. We already have close to 100 food vendors this year. We are the largest food festival in the Midwest. We're adding a new food truck court this year. That's something new. We're also adding a 5K, which will be held actually on Thursday prior to Pierogi Fest. We're going to hold a 5K in conjunction with Calumet College, which we announced right here on WJOB a couple weeks back.
What's the date on the 5K on Saturday morning?
No, it's going to be on the 28th. It's going to be on the 28th. It's going to be the day before Pierogi Fest.
So it's on a Thursday evening or what?
On Thursday evening, and we're going to get a lot more information out about that. And there's just plenty of other activities that we're adding. So, but we wanted to come on and give you guys the opportunity to break it locally first about the Village People.
Can you tweet that on my Twitter right now of the Village People? I don't know what their hashtag is or their Twitter is, and then maybe take a picture of Tom here and put it up there.
Yeah, my daughter, by the way, pointed out, she said, this is just keeping with tradition. We started Pierogi Fest in part because I don't like pierogies, okay? And then, you talk about dancing, okay? You think you're a bad dancer. You're looking at the worst dancer on the planet over here.
I'm just guessing, just by your general demeanor and so forth, you're not a great dancer.
Okay? It's kind of like watching a Maytag, okay, out on the dance floor, if that. And I'm very self-conscious about dancing. So, of course, what do? We bring in a disco band. I mean, that just makes a lot of sense, but it's a lot of fun.
It'll be the Village People. That'll be on Saturday, July 30th. Saturday, July 30th on the Village People coming. And Ryan tells us that it was in December or something, they played the Grizzlies, and the Village People performed at halftime. What's that guy's name? Willis is his last name.
Yeah, he's one of the originals.
I know his name. Willis is the main guy behind his last name. Victor Willis.
Victor Willis.
Victor Willis is the guy. The other guy was Hodo or something, was the construction worker. I'm pretty sure he's been, I don't know why I read this in People or something. And Hodo is the construction worker. He's been replaced. But Victor Willis marches on. And Victor Willis and David Hodo were kind of the two big guys. And Hodo was replaced by a guy here it is, Bill Whitefield replaced him about 3 years ago. But they still march on pretty strong. So have you ever had concerts at Oil City Stadium?
No, this is actually our first. We're going to add a fifth stage. We're expanding Pierogi Fest down to Oil City Stadium this year. So we're going to add a fifth stage down there. It's going to probably be a country music theme. And then, of course, we're going to have the concert in Oil City Stadium. We've already been talking to different venues about setting up the stage. So they need a very large stage and a separate sound system. So all that's being worked on. And if this works, we plan on doing something very eclectic next year as well. We've already got somebody lined up, so I can't say who yet, but it would fit Pierogi Fest perfectly.
Okay, so where in Oil City Stadium would the stage go?
The stage is actually going to go on the running path between first and second base. We're going to bring in coverings for the field, so you'll actually be able to be on the grass area or in the stands, and we think we can hold about 5,000 people.
So if you guys have never been to Oil City Stadium, and I have a feeling that's quite a few people that are listening.
And they're missing out on something.
Oil City Stadium, so if you're sitting at certain angles from the stands or even on the infield, you'll be able to look right either over their heads or right to the left of them and see the entire BP Whiting refinery.
That's right. That's right. That's our skyline. When people go to Oilman games, for example, they always laugh because they say at night, when the refinery is lit up, it looks a lot like a skyline, except, of course, most skylines don't have great big flare stacks, but the rest of it, there is that silhouette look, so it's kind of neat.
And then also down the left field line, not a lot of people sit there until the stands fill up, but there's a big grassy area. The kids wind up just kind of playing catch over there and messing around. But you could also put people on there along with the infield. So you're thinking 5,000 people. I would say that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had again, obviously the village people have an advanced team, so they've been out there and they've looked at it and they've given us an estimate, and we think it's pretty solid.
So it'll not only be a first for Pierogi Fest. Now I'm thinking about the geography of this. It normally ends at
Schrag.
At Schrag.
So it's about a half block from the
Yeah,
stadium.
it normally ends at Schrag because you've moved the beer garden onto a side street of what's side street?
Well, actually, it's a parking lot over at Pennsylvania. The beer garden actually runs from New York Avenue down to approximately White Oak, or it will this year. We're expanding it a little bit, and then it takes that whole parking lot area that would be the extension of Pennsylvania if Pennsylvania ran south of 119th.
And then so you're extending it down there now. Is that going to allow for more room for vendors too?
Yeah, we're extending the festival down to the alley behind Schrag. So we're adding about another 125 feet to the east. We're expanding the beer garden. We're making use of White Oak Avenue, which we really haven't used, down to the alley for some of the arts and crafts. We've redone the arts and crafts area this year. We've got a whole bunch of new vendors. It's going to be really different, really nice. We're adding all kinds of things. I mean, one of the things that makes Pierogi Fest unique, as you know, is we go through every year after the festival and rip it apart and redo it. I mean, we have changed Pierogi Fest year after year after year, and people sometimes say, hey, I thought, I'm looking for the food vendor that was on that corner last year, and that food vendor may have been moved, may not even be there. We rotate food vendors. One of the things that we're known for, in fact, we've gotten some real compliments out of the Chicago news media and even the national news media. The Wall Street Journal pointed out last year, is that we limit the number of food vendors selling the same type of food. So you'll find only one or two elephant ear vendors at Pierogi Fest. You're not going to find 10 like you do at most food festivals. We have one or two. We have one or two shake-up lemonades. The only thing that you really find multiples of are pierogi vendors.
There it is. Tom Dabertin, of course, also comes in and hosts and sits in the chair that I'm sitting in right now for the Whiting Robertsdale Chamber of Commerce. That's the big news. Pierogi Fest. Not only is there a 5K on Thursday night before, but also the village people are coming to Oil City Stadium, and that'll be on Saturday night at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us on. Thanks for letting us do this. Hey, I do want to remind listeners, we've had it on before on WJOB, but on Sunday, The Kid, the Charlie Chaplin famous movie, The Kid, the silent movie is being presented at the Hoosier Theater at 2 p.m. in downtown Whiting, so kind of unique. They've got an organist that's going to play the accompaniment, really kind of a unique feature for an area theater.
So what time is that at? Do you know?
It's at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. on Sunday. That'll be The Kid at the Hoosier Theater. All right, Tom, thanks for coming in. Thanks for just crazy stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, I'll be right back. AM 1230 WJ.